So the wildest thing that ever happened in my agency, well, I can't really share in this platform, but I'll tell you, I have a security cameras on the front door and the back door, and I actually work in my office at reception. I'm one of those lead from the front type people. And one day I just sat down on my chair very aggressively. And sure enough, I fell ass over apple cart right in the middle of the floor. And not one person in my office came to my aid. And I posted it on the agency Facebook page because, it can happen to anybody. And I'm sitting there laying there thinking about my life, thinking about why the heck did I do this? And I'm sitting there, then it starts to think, not one person's checked on me because I didn't fall gracefully. I didn't fall silently. It was not something that people would not know happened. I mean, and people are walking by the front of my agency. Ooh. And nobody looks in, and eventually I kind of dust myself off and I sit back in the seat, and again, no one really, it wasn't spoken. But yeah, that was interesting. That was fun. And along with all the other ins and outs that you have in the insurance business. But my name is Mike Monaghan. I own Monaghan and Associates in Springboro, Ohio, and I'm an insurance dude.
Insurance dudes are on a mission to escape being handcuffed by our agencies.
How? By uncovering the secrets to creating a predictable, consistent, and profitable agency sales machine.
I am Craig Pretzinger.
I am Jason Feldman.
We are agents.
We are insurance dudes.
Right now, while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
We took our notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies led Craig and I to selling more than $10 million in premium in the last 2 years.
On this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the same results.
Just go to live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
If you jump on this call with us, we're certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.
All right. I love it, Mike. Good story.
Yeah, that is great. So
yeah, I wish when I posted the video, I would have liked, Buddy Hackett. I would have loved to put his theme song to it. Because it's just a dead video with because it's a security camera, it doesn't have any sound or anything to it. And I'm like, man, I really need to soundtrack that thing. But
or some Benny Hill.
Yeah, Benny Hill. Yeah, not Buddy Hackett. Benny Hill. Yeah.
That would be fantastic.
We'll have Envy do it. And we'll post it in the Facebook group. We'll have Envy put the music to it. That'd be.
It will make that moment infamous, or is it famous? I don't know.
I don't know either. But you got to be able to laugh at yourself.
You do.
Yes.
That's great. It is strange that nobody came to your aid.
It is strange. They don't work here anymore.
Oh, well, then there you go.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
The Naga, not going to work here anymore is basically what's going to happen.
Oh, that's funny.
Not rowing in the same direction.
No.
So, Mike, we kind of dove into this ahead of time, and then we stopped ourselves to start recording. But tell us how you got into this crazy business we know as the insurance business.
Yeah, I lost a bet, really. No, I went to school, got a degree in finance, and right out of school went to work at Morgan Stanley because I'm an idiot and I didn't want to go work with my dad and take over daddy's business, like so many kids do these days. I said, I'm going to do it myself, because I think I like to make things hard on myself. So I started in October of 2000, the dot-com bubble burst. And then I fast forward, I find myself in the auto finance business, and I'm traveling across the country, going to dealerships. And my wife was pregnant with our firstborn. And, then we had another kid, and I wasn't going to see them very much because I'm traveling all the time. So I said, I need to get back to kind of my roots and come back home. And my good buddy, who was my insurance agent at the time, told me about the opportunity of buying a business here in the Dayton area, which is Springboro. And I sunk a bunch of money into it and a couple of years later, now through COVID. So again, my timing is impeccable, but the good thing is with COVID though, people didn't have excuses, like it's not like I'm taking my kids to soccer. We're not going anywhere. So we actually had one of our better months when in Ohio, there actually was a little bit of a lockdown for a little bit, but we had a great month that month. And it's just like everything in this business, it's how you perceive it,
Right.
So yeah. So that's kind of how I got to where I am now.
Sure. And as long as you're not watching the narrative on the news, you actually could determine that things are actually doing pretty good, because if our goal is to talk to as many people as possible and the phone is that tool, well, people were home, right? They didn't have 100%. Anything better to do than answer the phone and actually, all right, well, I guess I'll do insurance because I normally say no, but I'm
what else am I going to do?
What else am I going to do? Right. It was a great time to get caught up on stuff, I think.
Right.
But this thing's a grind. It's tough being an agent. Take us back and talk about your earliest win that really created that fuel. What was the fuel for your fire?
Oh man, the earliest win. Finally, I guess negotiating the purchase of the business was the first win. It was one of the 11th hour. The seller kind of had cold feet and wanted to kind of change things up. So, just getting that done was definitely put some wind in my sails, and hiring the staff, getting things going. It's always good, and I enjoyed one of my first staff members, helping them get through no's and hearing them say the things that we're training and talking about and saying, man, this stuff actually works. I'm like, yeah, it does. So let's continue to try and do that. So
that is the best. I love that. Yeah. It's a lot of times us as agents, it's easy for us to be the heroes in the agency and get the sales, but there's something about it when you can coach someone and then they overcome that, like, whatever it may be, whatever might be their obstacle, they overcome it. And it's like, wow, that works. And they're like, I don't know. There's something about that that's super fulfilling.
Absolutely.
So what kind of team do you have? And what are their roles in the agency?
Small, but mighty. Like many of us in the world, you just can't put a help wanted sign out there and go through it. So it's a constant recruitment process. It's kind of like, I don't work out, but I've heard you don't skip leg day. I haven't lifted a weight in anger since the 90s when I was in high school, and so you can't skip leg day. You always got to be recruiting. So right now I have 2 licensed staff members and myself. I'm certainly a player coach. My goal is to double that team in the first half of 22, and then to add 2 more by the second half of 2022, and get more teledudes dialed in and lighten up the phones, because again, I just want to make this place just phones ringing off the hook, mass hysteria, dogs and cats living together. That's kind of what I want. I like a high energy. At the end of the day, everybody goes, whoo, man, we had so much stuff going on. This was great. That's what we want. And we're getting there. And like I said, I really like the team that I've got. I just need more of them.
Yeah, I love the activity, right? Even with a smaller team, you can still feel it, right?
Yep.
When everything is sinking and the phones are blowing up and they're talking to people and doing quotes all day, it brings so much energy. And it sounds like you've created a really good culture there. And again, size doesn't matter when it comes to teams. And so
okay.
Talk about that culture. Talk about the culture and what you've done to foster that.
Man, I don't know. I like to enjoy the people I work with, and I like to have a good time. I'm a little irreverent, and I've heard you talk about yourself, Greg. You and I are very, very similar in the fact that the highs are very, very high and the lows can be very, very low. Manic, Yeah. I don't break things anymore. I'm well past that, In my 20s, yes, phones got broken, things got, and then you just kind of realize, seriously, back up. But I believe in frank talk, accountability, but no hard feelings, and says, hey, that was a horrible call, but let's get them next time. Here are the things that you did good. Here are the things that you didn't do good. Let's move on. I try and make it competitive and fun. You know, we play a poker game every week when everybody has at least 5 homeowners quotes. Every bundled homeowners quote, you get a card, and we play a game of poker, and whoever gets the best poker hand is gets $100. If everybody plays, the winner gets $200, and just doing different types of things. And Fridays are movie day, so we'll have a movie on in the office while we're grinding, because I know you guys love movies, and I like to show these young guys some good movies, because I got one guy in my office that never watches anything, nothing. If I name a movie, you tell me a movie, he doesn't know what it is, so we have to watch movies for him. So
that total tangent, but with that. Well, no, I mean, I think it's just so interesting because, we're all in an older bracket than a lot of the workers that we bring on, the sales folks. And what an opportunity to share some of the really cool movies that we've seen, right? Because I don't think they make anything close to what used to be made,
No.
So I don't know why Ferris Bueller keeps coming to my mind, but like Ferris or Fletch or all these great late 80s, early 90s movies are just so solid.
Put it on Underhill.
Put on the Underhills tab.
Could you actually suggest somebody watch Fletch?
Fletch is phenomenal.
In this day and age?
Absolutely.
Okay. It's just there's definitely some stuff in there that they wouldn't re-record.
Absolutely not. Give you a perfect example. My wife and I will watch movies with our kids, like movies that are completely innocuous to us when we were kids in the 80s. And we are watching it, The Bad News Bears, with my then 10-year-old daughter, and I think my youngest was 6 at the time or something like that.
Yeah.
And Bad News Bears with Walter Matthau. Nope, you're going to hard pass on that, brother, because it got dicey real quick. Yeah,
Cannot show that at the office or you're canceled.
No. Well, and the other thing is if you hire the right folks on your team, like we always say when we're talking, do you like the person that's sitting across the table from you? And
right.
You can't have thin skin in this business.
No, and we do have the ability to kind of create our environment, and if we have to build something that is going to be comfortable for everybody.
Yep.
So how do you bring in new people into the office? Where do you find them?
Yeah, I've listened to you guys now. A gorilla suit running through the parking lot with a
such a good way to do
a board on me. Again, it can't be a passive thing anymore. And being caught up as a player coach, I spend way too much time working in the business, as you guys hear from a lot of people, and that's the biggest struggle with agents as they're trying to scale. Is I'm still binding contracts. I'm still taking phone calls from folks, because a big part of what I sell at Monaghan and Associates is me and that personal touch. And hey, I'm here to help you. If you need anything, call. Well, that's great and all, but it is hard to scale that. And the recruitment thing is reaching out and really talking to people in the service industry. I don't believe in hiring in people that have current insurance experience. I'd rather bring them in fresh, new, as long as they have the want to and the drive. We can do everything else. So, heck, reaching out to marketing teachers at schools, high schools and colleges. I mean, just because, obviously you don't need a college degree to do this. You just have to be very, very smart, get your licenses and learn. So as long as they have drive, we're going after it and diving into, looking at resumes and really trying to recruit people myself versus passively just, hey, here's a job posting, taking what I get.
Right. Yeah, that whole wait until you have to hire somebody.
Nope.
And I know everybody listening has at some point done it, and I myself included, Jason also. That sets up the cycle of a lot of problems, right?
Absolutely.
Because then it's desperation, and we know what happens with that. So always be recruiting. So powerful to as a takeaway on that. Now you bring them on. So they're a fit. You figure, okay, I'm going to take a chance. We're going to bring this person on. What does that look like? What do you do on that first day to really make sure they're going to be successful?
Man, and I'll tell you what, I've had a run of unsuccessful hires. So I got to dig back. I got to go back into my memory banks to really get a good one. But no, I mean, the process is always the process. Like I said, I work in what I call the bullpen in my the fish bowl in my office. So I work out front, and it's an area with 3 workstations. And whenever someone's new, they work with me for at least the first 2 months, like sitting literally right next to me. And we dive into, I'm their Google for a month, if it makes sense. And so just to kind of bring them on, and I'm making outbound calls, I'm listening to their calls, they're sitting 3 feet from me. So that first day when I onboard somebody, they don't have their license, so for that first month, they come in the morning, they take 2 hours and study on my dime. And then once they're done with their study session, then I'm training them on the CRM. They're making phone calls, and I'm paying them for every time they get somebody to agree to a quote. And so that way I can kind of see in that first month whether or not they're going to be successful. And we're also doing some training throughout that process. And then their goal is, by the end of that 30 days, they have to pass their test. I was like, I don't care how many times you take it, but you're passing it in 30 days, or unfortunately, it's just not going to work. I've had in the past let people go on and on and on. At the end of the day, they just don't work out. So, hold people more accountable to the standard. That's something that I've learned in the short time is I got to not be the nice guy. But yeah, that's usually what the first week, month look like when they're onboarded here.
It's funny that accountability factor is huge. You think you're being nice by, not setting things that might be too hard for this person or something, but in actuality, they don't know what you're thinking. So,
sure.
We talk about this a lot with our service team, is like setting those specific goals or like the specific tasks that need to be done by a specific deadline, because they're guessing. They don't know when these things need to be done or not done. They're guessing, and their interpretation is going to be totally different than yours. So I think there's a huge amount of wisdom behind that, especially when you bring someone on. They want to know, they want to feel comfortable knowing that they're doing a good job. So if you set those specific dates that they need to be done by, and even if they don't make it, maybe they'll make it a day later or something, but at least they feel comfortable. Like it actually creates more security by putting out specifically what you expect. I love that. What types of things do you do to keep your team motivated? I love the card game. That is so much fun to do.
Yeah, we play the card game. Sometimes we'll just gamble a little bit around the office. It's like, okay, I've had months where I say, okay, it's me against you guys. So we'll take all the business that I write in the month versus you guys, and if any one of you beat me, I'll pay you all a certain amount. But if you all beat me, I'll pay you all more. So that also kind of helps keep me sharp, because again, I like engaging and doing the sales part of this business, because quite frankly, that's my background. I'm learning all the rest of the stuff. I could always do the sales part of things and the business development, but now it's learning the managing and running the business type stuff. So that's one of the fun things that we do to kind of keep it fun. And I'm trying to teach them how to play golf too. So we have a little putting setup. So sometimes when we don't do poker, we'll do golf. And yeah, I don't have too many golfers here. So yeah.
Well, putting's a little bit. Anybody can putt, right? Sort of. You would think.
Yeah, I probably should show you some videos of that too.
So back to training a little bit.
Killed a guy.
Oh,
it's slippery slope.
Slippery slope. Well, we'll keep you out of trouble on that. But what do you think is a really effective training tip that you've done that seems to work with folks and seems to help them to get results?
Well, I think having a feedback with the people on how they like to learn. But I find that most people, not all, they like to kind of just jump in, and I equate it to how, I got my girls to jump off the diving board on the deep end. I would jump into the deep end, and you tread water and you jump in here. I'm going to do it with you. And I find that the most successful training is let's just jump in the deep end and start swimming around. And again, I think sitting next to me, listening to calls, and then listening to what I say. I love it when I hear people use what I'll say and it works for them. And they're like, holy crap, what is this Jedi mind trick that I just learned? And one of the things I'll always say, it's math, not magic. Here are the inputs that you have to do to get there. You either got to close better or you got to do more work. So which is it? So, and they probably get annoyed the fact that I say it's math, not magic all the time, but it is what it is.
That's funny. So moving ahead to marketing, with your experience, what have you done for marketing, and what do you currently do, and all that jazz?
All that jazz. Marketing is web leads for me is the main source of the business that we're coming that's coming into the agency, because again, obviously it's an indication of people that have an interest that are shopping. Other than that, having a social profile and putting things out there, I see feedback from it. It's nothing huge, but like I said, buying leads of people that are in the market looking for things, and we just kind of build it off of there, and asking those people for referrals. Again, I tell people, I was like, hey, if you can double your output just by getting someone to give you a referral, absolutely, all day long, we'll take that. But I think it all starts with those web leads, and because again, people run out of family and friends real quick, and
right.
You have to always be in front of people that are looking and doing things. So putting the web leads in and having the teledudes calling them and setting up the phones ringing over here has been very, very successful for us. And it didn't happen overnight. And I shared the other day, we had somebody that was 396 days. And
wow.
we finally closed it. It because we loaded in. I loaded in a bunch of the old stuff that we had, and it took 2 months of the calling. And man, why are you guys keep calling me? Well, funny you should ask.
Yeah,
because we're gonna keep calling you.
Because it's gonna keep happening and keep happening
and keep happening.
Because it's important. It's important. That's what everybody's like, well, don't you bug people? Well, yeah. Well, if somebody says that is annoyed, say, man, we take our job seriously. This is important to protect you and your family.
Absolutely.
Don't you think?
Absolutely. I tell my team, it's like, hey, it's okay. No one that you talk to today is going to want to talk to you, but they need to talk to you.
Right.
And once you get them on the phone, then you're assuming that everything's going to happen the way you want it to happen because you're the best option for them. So when we're on the phone with people, I tell them, I was like, hey, no doesn't bother me. I had to ask my wife to marry me twice, so I've heard the word no before.
Right.
We're just going to do our best to try and help you and get you in a better position than you are now.
Only twice?
Only twice, yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
It took me a lot more. I really had to push. Yeah.
I couldn't have asked the third time, so.
Yeah, I was about to hire a telemarketer to just keep calling her.
Just keep calling her. Just keep calling her.
Get it on the 90th dial.
You keep calling me and keep calling me. You'll just keep calling me. I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Yeah, that's right, Cameron. Hey, what are you still doing here?
Well, while you're still here and while it's fresh in your mind, check out live.teledudes.com.
Yeah, if you weren't listening before, we took notes from over 100 interviews with top agents from around the country and made it into a live webcast.
Using these strategies did help Craig and I write over $10 million in premium in the last couple years.
And let me tell you, on this call, you'll receive the exact blueprint to get the very same results.
Again, that's live.teledudes.com to register for this upcoming Tuesday's live call with us.
And if you jump on with us, we are certain 2022 will be an absolutely fantastic year for you.
See you there.